What are the 5 top myths in documentary filmmaking? Well, that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. Myth number 1, you need tons of money to start documentary filmmaking. Fact is, many award-winning documentary films have been made with very little money. Clerk in 2021. This was a documentary about filmmaker Kevin Smith, showing the power of passion over budget. Tarnation in 2003 was made for about $218. Super Size Me, one of my favorites, in 2004, was an Academy-nominated film, which would have won, except Born into Brothels was there, which is another one of my favorite movies. Amazing. Super Size Me was made for $65,000. And it made a whole impact on the fast food culture. It even made McDonald's stop saying, Super Size Me. The Blair Witch Project. Man, in 1999 when that came out, it freaked everyone out and made $60,000. Scared the living bejesusicals off of so many people. Finding Those Dark Days in the year 2000, filmed in the tunnels of New York City, is made with minimum resources and gained critical acclaim. So don't let money stop you. Shoot first and ask questions later. What's really important, more than money, is story making. If you have a good story and it's well told with storytelling techniques, it's going to be great. Sometimes what you need to do is get very creative. I had a film shoot in a community around Montreal, St. Anne de Bellevue. I phoned City Hall and said, okay, I'd like to shoot in this area. I'd like to make a film and just make a couple of interviews. How much would it cost? He asked me, well, do we have to block off people? I said, no, people are going to be a part of it. He says, okay, fine, $1,500. $1,500? So I said, I'd think about it, and the film's going to be shot in probably 3 or 4 months. The next day, I went, I made sure there was no security around, and I shot the film. So, just don't get caught. It's called guerrilla filmmaking techniques. You just get out and shoot. It's really fun. With the incredible quality of iPhones these days, you could make a film just with the iPhone. As long as you make sure that the sound is as best as you could capture it. Editing software, there's great editing software out there. Basically, all you need for documentary is a title, music, and end. And then you need cuts and transitions. It's as simple as that. You could do that for absolutely free once you have a phone. No excuses there. For my first films, I used a Canon PowerShot A550. About a $500 camera at the time. You could still probably buy it for about $500 on eBay. And that's all I did. So start with what you have and move on and build up. If you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing. It really helps the channel grow and to reach more people. Myth number 2 is that you need formal training to be a documentary filmmaker. So that's the age-old question. Should you go to film school or should you just go out and make films? Now, I started at an age where going to film school didn't really make any sense. It was 15 years ago. I was just in my early 50s and I needed to get out and film. So I just bought my PowerShot and I went and filmed my first film. If you're younger and you have the money and the time, going to film school is a good idea. But there's so much out there. I'm completely self-taught. I learned everything. You go to places like Film Editing Pro and Ripple Training. Those two training companies, the people behind them, I've gotten to know years. I've got all their training. They're really super. So with Film Editing Pro and Ripple Training, you can really go a long way without having to go to school. But the other thing is, you got to fail. You got to get out there and shoot and make mistakes. What mistakes? You didn't format a card properly. You didn't set the right settings on your iPhone. The clouds were wrong. The weather was bad. The people weren't ready. You weren't ready. You didn't prepare the night before. All these things. You go out there and make the mistakes. I made a video about that right here. Go out there and make your mistakes. That's the only way you can do it. Malcolm Gladwell talked about 10,000 hours. Talked about how the Beatles, Bill Gates, they had no success until they did 10,000 hours. Basically, what is 10,000 hours? Generally, about 10 years. In 10 years of effort, and you put in your 10,000 hours, 1 hour at a time. And you can't skip. You can't skip. You can't say, okay, well, I'm going to learn by videos and not make my mistakes. No, you're going to go out here. You're going to watch videos like this. You're going to go out there and you're going to say, okay, I know I should have formatted my card before going out instead of doing it on the field. I know it only takes a second, but you know what's going to happen? You're going to go and format your card and it's going to fall on the dirt and you're not going to have a backup. Then you're going to be a mess. Now, yes, okay, I admit I've made that mistake. So yeah, I've made mistakes. I continue to make more mistakes, but I make less and less, thank God. And that's what I want. I want to spend more time talking to the camera, making films, than going around fixing my mistakes. Many great filmmakers are self-taught. Examples like Quentin Tarantino, Werner Herzog. Yeah, there's another guy you might have heard of. Steven Spielberg. His story, if you get a chance to follow his story, he actually snuck onto a set in California, snuck onto a movie set. He was a little kid, not even a teenager. He wanted to go and learn by looking and doing. I mean, that's a story for everyone, really great. A good idea is to network with people slightly above your level. So not beginners if you're beginning, but people just slightly ahead to make you stretch. Like you always basically want to learn to ski with someone who's a better skier than you, or tennis, or any sport. Filmmaking is the same thing. Find someone who knows a little more knowledge than you and have them teach you. You could do this by any number of groups. Reddit, I mean, obviously Facebook is great for that. Actually, Facebook is probably the best for that. Myth number 3, you need to be super motivated and a go person and never stop. Many filmmakers are, but you don't need to be like that. That's more of a type A type of thing, handling everything. But if you're type B, more relaxed, that's fine too. Filmmakers are like everyone else, especially documentary filmmakers. Your ups and downs. Some days are going to be great, some not so great. So you have to work with that. You have to deal with your energy. Planning, production, post-production, all very, very labor intensive. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes some of these things are harder than others. Sometimes pre-planning, you can say, well, you know what, I'm just going to get up tomorrow and go up and go film shoot. That's a huge mistake. Always plan the day before. Select your lenses, pick your lenses, clean the lenses, and if it's only an iPhone, make sure it's fine, make sure it's fully charged, and get the right settings, and get out there and go. Do a little bit of some days you're going to wake up and maybe you don't have that consistent drive. Just do one thing. Do one thing to move the project forward. Whether it's some research, looking at equipment, talking to the people you're going to be interviewing or whatever. Try to do one thing. Try to do the thing that most interests you. Because there's going to be some days where logging information is really, really tough. It's very, very draining. Somehow you have to find that motivation within you to go do the dirty jobs. Sometimes things happen. Basically, just before my 65th birthday, I got a very, very severe strain of COVID. It knocked me on my back. It ended my hockey career. There's no way I'll ever be able to play hockey again. I'll never get my lungs back to where they were. And it was done. And I know a lot of people, a lot of editors, especially filmmakers, especially editors, we just, for some reason, for 6 months, it's like the whole editing world, at least in North America, that's where my main contacts are, in England, we just couldn't. We don't know why. We just couldn't get there. There was some sort of energy in the world, I don't know, but we just couldn't edit. So we all went 6 months without editing. It was kind of frustrating. Because basically, when I get an idea in me, I've got to get it out. I've got to work at it. If I think in the middle of the night, I said, oh, there's a cut, or there's a scene I'd like to do, or there's someone I'd like to research, I'll get up and have to do it. But when COVID hit, I was flat on my back. I thought I would never film again. So just understand that there's ups and downs, and COVID, although I have long COVID, I'm still working, obviously, and loving it. And some days on your down days, and if you're trying to force it and it's just not working, that's okay. Just chill out. What you do is find a good documentary. One of my favorites, Octopus Teacher. It's so good. It's a master class in storytelling. Just how can you possibly get a documentary filmmaker develop a relationship with an octopus? I mean, it's absurd. The storytelling and the music score, everything was fantastic. It won best documentary, and man, when that was When that film was chosen and mentioned on the Academy Awards, I jumped. I was so happy. The people who made that are amazing. And sometimes if you don't have quite the energy or you're stuck and you don't know why, go online, post something, say, look, I'm having problems with this or I'm having problems with that. And other people will say, you know what, I've had that problem too, because we're all the same. We all have ups and downs. We're not all go behind the camera, and the camera's turned off and we're at home lying in our equipment. Sometimes it's really tough and you need motivation. So get on the line, get on Facebook, get on Reddit, find out, and I'm sure other people will say, oh yeah, I had that problem, and then you could share with them. They could share with you how they got over the problem. Myth number 4, you can't possibly make a documentary film without having contacts. Well, that's not true. I had no contacts. I know many of my friends, my documentary friends, they had no contacts. You just go out there with a camera and you shoot. And then when you come back and post your film online, or you go to a film festival. I have a film about how to enter film festivals and how that works. Then you'll meet filmmakers from around the world and in your type of film. This way you can help each other and build a network. Every film starts from zero. Every single film. It's obvious. But when you think of these great films, Francis Ford Coppola, for example, he had ideas for years and years and years and years. So do you have an idea? Of course you have an idea. If you're watching this video, it's because you have ideas and you want to learn how to do documentary filmmaking. Thanks for coming. I really appreciate it. What you need to do is get out there and shoot. Ask questions later. Myth number 5. You need really years and years of experience before you'll make something great. Well, you might need some time, but not necessarily years. How do you get great? Well, once again, here you go. If you haven't seen this, it's how to fail, how to make a mistake. Maybe someone, their first film is going to be a blockbuster and make millions and billions of dollars. Your first film, like mine, that I talk about in this film, is about failing. And I say that again. My first film was probably terribly awful. At the time, I thought it was great. And I was really proud of it and happy. So I started. Wasn't very good, but I started. Then I made the next film. Then you go get feedback and you make the next film. So the more films you make, the more mistakes you make, the faster you'll grow and the faster you'll learn. Not for the weak-hearted. It's hard. I've shown films and they don't get it and they laugh. I've had people laugh in my face at my films. Probably the wrong target market, the wrong audience, and yes it was. But nevertheless, you get up and you say, okay, well that film's not for him. That's criticism. Dealing with criticism is not easy. Never easy for a filmmaker. Because if you're like me, films and the films you're going to make are part of your soul. You take your film and you put it out in the world for people to see. So the whole world is looking at your soul, criticizing it. But you know what? That takes courage. That's how you start. All the great filmmakers started that way. So when are you ready to make your first film? Well, how about now? How about right now? Get out there and start making a film. From one step to another. Get the camera, get your phone, find something you're really passionate about, your sport, your dog, your family, your sports team, something that you go out there and make it like a 2-minute documentary. How hard is that? How hard is that? It's not that hard. Get out there and film. Get some footage and come back, throw it in the machine and work at it and make your mistakes there. And no one expects your first films to be excellent. No one expects them to be award-winning. The way I developed myself, again, I talked about in films on failing and film festivals. So I learned through film festivals. I talked to a lot of film festivals and sent them to some very, very small, far end of the world film festivals, but they came back, they gave me some great advice. I changed my films, I motivated, and I said every single one, my goal is if I can't make a film better than my last, I'm not gonna make it. It's just got to be better. You have to learn, get better, and better, and you do that by failing. You don't do it by talking or reading books. You get out there by putting that theory of the books and the videos like this into practice. So get out there and shoot. So you need to learn to get your projects out there. So get some feedback from your friends and family. Those are the only people who are going to look at your films at the start, and have them tell you what could make it better. Talk about the story. Ask them questions. Was the story good? Was it clear? What was really clear? What was not clear? You know in the back of your head, the theme of your video. Does the person get it? If so, great. If not, well, why not? What techniques can you learn in order to convey this theory? One of my favorite books of all time, A Road Less Traveled by M. Scott Peck. If you haven't read this book, you should get out there. It's fantastic. He said, Scott M. Peck, that he felt, how did he put it, unworthy to put this information out there. That who am I to go out there and make a film? Who's going to watch my film? I'm a nobody. Kind of called the imposter syndrome these days. That's what it's called. So basically he said, well, I'm a nothing. I don't know anything. All these people are making amazing films. But like I said before, you get out there, you make your mistakes, you get out there just like everyone else. So these top people, they went out there and made films. Get out there and make a film. If you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing. I thank you very much for watching this, and I hope to see you in another video. So there you have my 5 tips. I hope this helps you and motivates you to get out there and film. I hope these myths that I've just debunked will encourage you to get out there and shoot your first film. Just get out there and shoot, baby. Thank you very much for watching this film. I appreciate it. If you want to see more content like this, please just like and subscribe. If you have any comments, please let me know. I answer them within 48 hours. Thank you so much.